Welcome back. YourTown, Monterey. Learn all about it. There's always something new happening. Today we've got some great guests, and our second guest is one of my absolute favorites, and obviously my favorite school, Chartwell School, Mr. Billy Swift.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for having me.
So you are the head of the Chartwell High School.
I am.
And you were a teacher and got this promotion this last year.
Correct.
We're happy that you did. So this is a big class this year.
We do. Our graduating class this year will be the largest graduating class that we've had in the history of our school. And for many people, it would seem really tiny, like minuscule. But for us, it is fairly big. So we're graduating 11 students this year. We have 30 students currently enrolled. And yeah, so we're a very small school to begin with. We're a very small independent private school, as you know. Yeah.
So let's talk about Chartwell. Chartwell is a school for children with learning differences, primarily dyslexia. And a lot of them have a couple other types of diagnosis or whatever. But I have been amazed, I make no bones about it, that my granddaughter is a Chartwell student, and we have been amazed at what you and your colleagues are able to manage and to put kids on a good path, kids that maybe haven't felt very good about themselves before they get to Chartwell.
Yeah, so our students, they don't do well in traditional learning environments. Like you said, most of our students do have dyslexia or a specific learning disability, which dyslexia falls underneath. So it's learning and attention differences. We have a lot of students that have ADHD as well, and they come to us when they're at a place where they're frustrated with school, where they're frustrated with how they're being taught, that they know they have a lot of intelligence and creative ideas, and they're having trouble acquiring information, and then they're having difficulty expressing it. And that could be a multitude of ways. Sometimes acquiring information through reading, sometimes it's through their auditory processing, sometimes it's the regular classroom environment, or just the environment of the school in general. And then the same with expressing what they know. Some of them have some difficulty sometimes feeling just confident to be able to put their ideas out there. And that's really the core when students first come in. We really look at trying to increase their confidence and their self-esteem, because most of them come thinking that they can't do anything, that they know that it's there, but every time they go to do the work, it's really hard. And so when people say, hey, you're really smart, and they go to do something, and they find it hard, they don't believe that they actually are smart. And at our school, they can actually do the work, and they can prove to themselves and their peers and their families, usually for the first time, that they do have intelligence, and they are creative, and they're able to express themselves in ways that, in all honesty, for me, why I love working at this school, is astonished every single day by these students and our faculty that provides them with this amazing program and the environment that we have. They can run into school happy and saying hi to all the teachers, and yeah, it's a very fun, familial environment to be working in.
I was talking to a mother the other day whose son started at Chartwell this year, and she said he could not wait to get back from the spring break. He was just, is this the day? Yeah. I'm ready. And she said that is the first time in his 9-10 years of schooling that he has been eager to return to a school. And we hear that over and over, where before it used to be the Sunday night headaches and the stomach aches and the Monday flu, and now they're eager to get there, and you see that when you park there.
And when the students come in too, which is kind of nice, because the model of education that we have, I like to think of it as a river. So we provide the banks in which we want them to stay in, but we give them a lot of freedom and latitude to go explore and do things. And so sometimes the students just start these side projects, or they get curious about something, and then it starts taking off, and it develops into something more than we ever thought it would be. Currently, I have 3 students that found an FM transistor radio that we had in a closet, and they were playing around with it, and they were figuring out how to broadcast, and now they're looking at starting a radio station at Chartwell. And it's fun to see them in their free time or communicating, outside of the school hours about how to make this thing work, because they're passionate about something. So it's cool to see that flame get lit, and then actually provide them with an environment which the air can get underneath of it, and provide it a little bit more life. Yeah, it's great to see them so enthralled, not just with what we're doing at our school, but giving them freedom and ability to explore and inquire about anything that they're interested and passionate about.
So the environment, the building is a LEED Platinum campus,
Yeah.
and it was the first LEED Platinum school actually in the United States.
Correct.
So the environment itself is just amazing, with flocks of turkeys and herds of deer, and
Yep.
every once in a while a coyote stalking one of them across the campus.
Right, well, we have that 65 acres, and then our buildings are built with student learning in mind. And our classes are really small, because we have small, when I say small, I mean they're typical classroom sizes, but our classroom sizes are really small. So we're able to use a lot of the classroom space in many different ways for different types of learners. So we're not a traditional sit and talk type school. People sometimes aren't sitting at their desks and learning. Sometimes they're up at stations doing something. Maybe they're in a group somewhere. Sometimes they're outside doing some independent work. All of our students have very diverse learning needs, and we're able to cater directly to anything that they need, and differentiate and modify the work to fit what's called the zone of proximal development for them. So they're really moving in a trajectory that works really well for them, and a lot of it is built on the space, because the Chartwell, the actual campus itself, being beautiful, is lovely. But the classrooms are set up and designed for success as well, and they're comfortable. They're not stuffy. Big glass windows, as you know, sometimes 20-something feet high, so we get a lot of natural light and nice flat desks. We have a lot of rolling boards, and we have smart boards and projectors and Apple TVs, and a lot accessible for the students and for the teachers.
So how does someone find Chartwell? Do they website? Is it word of mouth? How do you find your students?
Yeah, number one is word of mouth. So you know, as having your granddaughter at our school, more times than ever, the students will talk about their school, they'll brag about their school, and the parents, they do come to us and say, you maybe saved our family. A lot of times these families are kind of at their wits' ends, not sure how to navigate the school system, what to do for their child, and they're looking for some opportunity where their child can grow. And when they find Chartwell, a lot of that angst and anxiety is taken off of not just the student, but also off of the entire family. And so for them, when they say, you might have saved our family, they really mean it. And when you're doing something that powerful, and it's really the students are doing, I mean, we're providing an environment and giving them the opportunity. They're the ones that are doing something so powerful. But when the parents see it, they start talking. The more parents I've been talking to, I ask them just, how did you inquire about our school? And most of the time they say, I talked to a parent, I know this parent, I've been hearing about your school, just kind of buzzing around, people mentioning it for students with a learning difference. So really a lot of it is word of mouth, and word of mouth is more powerful than any print advertisement, any video that you see, because you're getting a real story that's connected to human beings, and that's the world, well, any company that you're in, but in the world of education, our clients are people and their minds and their souls, you know.
So for me, a lot of education, particularly high school students, is about exposure. Mm-hmm. They are exposed to different career paths that they might not ever have thought about. Mm-hmm. And I think when I see it, like a lot of people that are bankers, their kids become bankers. If you're an ag, your kid becomes ag. Mm-hmm. But I think Chartwell, because of the project-based learning, really opens up the complete world for these kids.
Right. So, yeah, our students have a lot of cognitive diversity and neurodiversity. So they have different, people say, strengths and challenges. We used to say a lot of times strengths and stretches. So the things that they could be good at, but they just have to work a little bit harder, and they have to learn those skills and strategies. And as a school that specializes with working with students with an LD, we teach skills and strategies all day long, so we can reduce some of the processing and some of the working memory they may have to do. But I've been moving towards actually calling it strengths and hesitancies, because I really do think that sometimes our students, they have these talents out there that are just untapped, that they haven't had those opportunities to do it. So our project-based model that we use at school allows them to go, like I said, we provide at the banks of the river, but to go explore these certain themes. And so sometimes they're fairly narrow, sometimes they're very large, but it allows them to go and explore this theme and come up with an understanding of it on their own and be able to express it in their own way. And if you don't know anything about project-based learning, when it comes down to it, the first thing you deal with is an issue or some sort of problem that we're facing. And we use a driving question. So we take this issue and we pose this question to the students, and we tell them in every single one of their classes, cross-curriculum, every class is going to be, when the lesson plan is made, is going to help them explore this theme and try to answer this question. And so throughout our project periods, we do 4 a year, so it's basically like 4 quarters, but we do 4 project periods. Each one, they get their theme, they get their driving question, and in all their classes, they learn about this theme, and they explore it from as many angles as we possibly can get them to explore it. But at the end, what they're doing is they're taking that knowledge and they're synthesizing the information that they have learned, and then their own feelings, their own thoughts, and they're pulling all of this forward, and they're presenting something out that hopefully will make a difference. So it's either answering that question, maybe not solving the issue, but it's maybe bringing awareness to it. So in the past, we've done an art gallery when we did a project period on mass incarceration, which is really big. Most recently, we did service learning, and all of our students were out in the community at various corporations, learning about what it means to be part of a community and what people are doing out there in the world to help other people, especially locally. And at the end of that project period, we had a big fundraiser, and the students presented about each organization and what they're doing, and the work that our students did, and kind of made a call saying, you can help too. Money is very important, but also we want to expose you to what's going on in our community. So they were able to explain what was happening within our community that they would have never been able to do before, and all these underlying issues that sometimes are multi-layered that they could then express, and then they were able to share it out to a fairly large group. I think we had about 200 people at that fundraiser, and we raised almost $1,500, $1,700 to donate back to these nonprofit organizations, which really goes a long way, and that's something that they did on their own, and they planned the entire event. It's exciting to see that unfold. And so that really provides them with some opportunities there. And when they do that, some people are like, wow, maybe I want to go into art therapy. Maybe I really do want to go into the tech world. Or it's just, like you said, it's exposing them to areas that they may have never known existed before, or an area that they were really hesitant to look at. And so we allow them that space to do so.
Well, I had Christian on from Loaves, Fishes, and Computers a show or two ago, and he was just thrilled because he said he never expected, first of all, he had a great group of young people to work with, but secondly, he said then at the end, they came back with a small check, and he said that was like a wow, whoever would think that happened. So,
and this is why the students love running to school, right? Because you don't get this experience all the time. It's pretty fun because our schedule right now, we don't have classes on Friday. Our classes are specifically built to do field experience work or project-based work based on whatever theme we're doing. So the students are coming in, and we might have guest speakers, we might be going on field trips, there's a host of things that we're doing. And so, they're coming in and they don't need their supplies. They don't need their chemistry book on Friday. They're coming in and they're specifically doing something working towards this issue or this problem that we've asked them to investigate.
So this period you're on food.
We're doing food, and our focus is on culture.
And I was like, wow, you're going to some really cool places. And you actually had a local lady who came in and cooked Indian food on campus. It smelled so good.
Ritika, she did a 3-hour cooking class for us. So the students are studying right now food, and their driving question is, how does the exploration of food inform us about various cultures? And so we're looking at all sorts of stuff. So one of those Fridays, we had a 3-hour cooking class. We made a trip to Folktail Winery. We went to Earthbound Farm. We went to Happy Girl Kitchen as well, and we're going to be going over to Revival Ice Cream this Friday. And for the end project period for this, the students are going to create a big feast for themselves to enjoy. They're each going to pick a culture or an ingredient or a technique used in cooking that they're fascinated about. They're going to explore it, and then they're going to prepare a pretty sizable portion to share with the rest of their peers, and we're going to have a big feast and just enjoy. And then we're going to do a food fair, and we're going to invite people in from the community to come and let the students teach the guests about these different cultures and food and techniques and ingredients. And then we're also compiling all the information that they're doing into a fairly large cookbook for the high school that we're going to end up distributing digitally.
It's pretty exciting.
It is.
It's
I know.
Pretty ambitious.
I may fast a little bit before the final project so I can have enough room for it all.
Well, I know I think Katie's selected her recipe, so now she just needs to try it a couple times. So
Yeah, well, she's got to dive into the culture and the techniques and look at some essential ingredients as well as part of the project.
Okay, well, we're on it.
Good, good.
So one of the things, Chartwell made a shift a few years ago because, and these are my words and they may not be the appropriate words, but I think Chartwell was more, give us your child for a couple of years, we'll remediate, and then we'll prepare them to re-enter back into the public school system. Mm-hmm. But the shift has been now where it's actually a college prep school and children are getting ready. Do you want to talk about the success with these kids?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, part of that shift, I do really believe, is after the high school was, the inception of the high school, around 2008 or so, the K to 8 parents really didn't see any other options. And now that the high school has been in existence for a good amount of time, originally known as the New High School Project, and now we've officially changed names to Chartwell High School, they're seeing the success that our students are having, not only in college, but moving through high school. And they're seeing that as a viable option for their child to go to college. So we have 11 seniors right now. All 11 seniors have been accepted into a 4-year college of their choice, at least one. Many of them have gone into kind of all their colleges. But we also have a senior advisory program, which is really kind of the heart and soul when we look at transition. And so every year, for the senior year, students take a class every single day with this amazing instructor, Miss LaValle, and she works the students through the entire college planning process. They actually start at their junior year, and they start just kind of saying, okay, what are my essentials? What are the things I want in a college? Is it region, area, size of school? Is it the program? And what do I definitely not want? And then there's the maybe pile. And so they do that, and they start planning and coming up with some ideas and doing some college tours with the family and having the conversation. But in their senior year, they're meeting every single day working through this. They're doing the research, they're working on their essays, they're filling out their applications, they're prepping for the ACTs that our students will typically take here on campus. They get their recommendations, they work through all the financial planning. We give them mock schedules for a pretend class or a syllabus, and they have to pretend that they're planning out their week, so when they're going to eat, when they're going to go to class, when they're going to work out, when they're going to study. And so just teaching them a lot of these executive functioning skills for how to manage their time, their materials, and their information going off to college. So like I said, our school is about skills and strategies, and we really pace it well, and we break it into manageable chunks for the students so it's not overwhelming. And so even just heading off to college, we take that experience and we break it down and make it very systematic and very explicit to the students and the families. The families love it because they don't have to deal with a lot of the stress. They know that the child's taking control of that. And it's a big area of ownership for them as well, because now they're showing some independence. They're starting to do something for the first time that they really believe in for their own future, without necessarily being guided by their parents, which sometimes that process can be very difficult to navigate with a teenager as a parent.
Well, Mr. Billy Swift, my hat is off to you and to your staff. I cannot imagine what you do every day. I could not do it. I actually would not do it. But I think that there's such an amazing transformation with these children when they go into Chartwell and when they come out of Chartwell. So congratulations. If you are interested in Chartwell School, chartwellschool.org is an amazing website. Take a look at it. The phone number is on there. I don't remember what it is, but I will tell you right now that if your child is struggling, this is the place for them. So don't go away. We'll be back in a minute. YourTown.